average student debt that we're currently counting is about $170,000 for 2016 graduates that have student debt. As I moved through veterinary school, I got involved. I was a SAVMA delegate and saw a lot of the different trends and issues that were popping up in veterinary medicine, veterinary student debt being one of the big ones. I started spouting off. I did so in front of Paul Payan, who is the co-founder and CEO of VIN, and he said, well, what are you going to do about it? Right? And this was when I'm a veterinary student, and we started meeting on a regular basis, and through my student loans and my wife's student loans, explored the options that were available and generated what is kind of now the VIN Foundation Student Loan Repayment Simulator. So the main tool that people can use to figure out their repayment costs and options based on their personal situation. So we just kept working through that, and we kept getting more questions from veterinarians and more complicated situations, people getting married, having kids, how should I file my taxes? So through all those experiences that we've garnered through helping other veterinarians, we've expanded the tools on VIN Foundation. And so every week I learned something new from the veterinarians we work with about how these plans can help, and then also I see people successfully navigating their student loan repayment and also having financial wellness plans, which is very satisfying. Yeah, so income-driven repayment, as the name implies, allows you to pay your student loans as a percentage of your income. So no matter what the number is, your income determines how much you pay on a monthly basis. So traditionally, student loans, just like a mortgage or a business loan, you would pay based on the principal balance and the interest rate. Well, when you have a principal balance of $300,000 and an interest rate of 6 or 7%, that monthly payment can often consume 100% of your income, and that's not financially sustainable. So income-driven repayment allows you to base your payment based on your income, and some of the more favorable versions of this, pay-as-you-earn or revised pay-as-you-earn, will allow you to pay 10% of your income towards your student loans, no matter what that balance is. So now we have a situation where you can manage your monthly payment using your income. So whether it goes up or goes down, if your payment goes up, you pay more. If your income goes down, you pay less. So it tracks along with your financial situation. Now that has some side effects, right? So sometimes you're not even covering the interest that accumulates on your student loans. But there is a solution for that, and forgiveness is part of the rules of the plan. So if you do this for 20 or 25 years, your student loans are forgiven. And you have to pay taxes on that, but that can still be a huge discount over paying your student loans or attempting to pay your student loans in the traditional manner. So it does take a little bit of a reconfiguring of how you think about paying student loans back, but it can be highly beneficial and is really ultimately what allows folks with debt-to-income ratios with 2 to 1 or higher to have a financial plan and manage their student loans. This situation is not unique to veterinary medicine, although the magnitude is unique to veterinary medicine.
Absolutely.
So while the technician programs, I do get some questions from technicians, the technician programs, from my understanding, are increasing in cost, but the magnitude is still not as significant as it is for veterinarians. So while the debt-to-income ratios, you can still use those metrics. So what we usually tell folks is if your debt-to-income ratio is 2 to 1 or higher, these income-driven repayment plans can really help. Now we see that to be the case most frequently with veterinarians, but for any technician who would also find themselves in a similar student debt-to-income ratio 2 or greater, they could also use these same concepts to help manage their student loans. Not getting so wrapped up in your student debt that you forget about all of the other things that you should be doing to keep yourself personally, financially healthy, right? So veterinary student debt for a lot of folks is kind of the biggest expense we've ever taken on in our careers. So it's reasonable to see why people get hyper-focused on their student debt and get really stressed on it. And then all of a sudden they want to, because they get advice from their parents or their first mentors, that say, hey, you need to pay that off as fast as possible. With some of the numbers that folks graduate with, that can be some really detrimental advice, and it can put even more stress on folks because they put as much as they feel like they can and they don't see it actually making a difference, right? So you don't want to forego all of those other things that are financially healthy, like having an emergency fund, starting your retirement savings, making sure that you pay down credit card debt. I mean, you have a lot of flexibility with your student loans, even though it doesn't feel that way sometimes because it's such a big number. But you actually do, and so you don't have to put off having other financial goals like starting a family or buying a house or buying a practice, even with student debt, if you know some of the advantages that you have through the federal student loan system.